Rock and roll may live forever, but we only retire once. Kevin Lamour of Our Financial Plans and Quadris Investment Services offers a large range of financial solutions from some of the biggest leaders in the investment and insurance landscape of Canada. See how a solid financial plan built with friendly and professional advice can help. Find out more at ourfinancialplans.ca or give them a call at 705-949-1316. Hey folks, and welcome to the Lonesome Cowboy Podcast. I have on here a young lady I've been wanting to talk to since I met her at the Folk Canada Conference in October in Ottawa last year. This is the incomparable Vicki Brittle. How are you, Vicki?
Good, Brian. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, it's a pleasure and a half, my dear. So, Vicki, when did it all start for you?
I was very young when everything started musically for me. I began like most, small town musicians. I was singing the national anthem at hockey games,
Good
and
for you.
I was raised in Royal Conservatory, and then I always thought that I was going to pursue Broadway and do something more theatrical. But around the age of like 14, 15, I started, I think, writing a lot more from personal experience at that age already. And that's kind of when everything took off. And then I've been gigging professionally since I was about 16.
Wow. Vicki, I had to giggle a little bit, not to be disrespectful, but 14, 15, I started writing about life experience. I went, what?
Yeah, about candy and
Well,
about,
yeah. But unless you're an old soul and you got some old stories kicking around inside you, so who knows, right? So, Vicki, do you remember your first gig? What you played, where was it, and how did it go? I mean, I don't mean like in the living room. I mean like, okay, Vicki Brittle will be performing as whatever part of the
Oh,
bill. Or maybe you're not even on the bill, you're a surprise.
oh my goodness. This is a heavy hitter just because I don't think I actually do remember, Brian.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I I mean, I guess that's cool.
You're lucky I asked it at this stage in your career and you didn't have to do it later and have to make something up.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'd rather be honest and say I don't fully remember what the first ever would be, because as soon as you said that, I wanted to say it would have been something Royal Conservatory, like one of
Ah,
my performances, like in musical theater. But I think one of my first shows that would have had my name on the bill that I was making, a little bit of money from would have been when I was performing with the music school that I had attended.
oh, cool. All right.
Yeah,
Nice, nice.
yeah.
They
And
see, that's cool.
that would have been around probably 15.
Oh, nice. Good for you.
Yeah.
Now you keep talking Royal Conservatory. So have you gone to school for music?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so this is just learning on your own.
No, so I like Royal Conservatory, basically like the program of it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did music lessons for it, and I did many grades in that. But I
Okay.
haven't been doing Royal Conservatory since probably about 15. Yeah.
And was that in instrument? Was that in piano or voice or
So
guitar?
vocal, yeah,
Oh
in
yeah,
vocal.
cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. So that's great. Like so you've sung musical theater then? And
Hmm.
but I think it's just such a great contrast to this great voice that you have with your music, you
Yeah,
know?
it's interesting to have the contrast, because I find there's still points of certain, whether it's like a certain song or a certain phase, where some of my musical theater background can still kind of trickle its way in, which is really
Okay,
neat.
cool.
Yeah, but I definitely it's definitely quite the contrast compared to what voice I use now and the voice that I found.
Nice. Good for you. So here you go. What was your first role in musical theater or your favorite role in musical theater you had? How's that? Not first, your favorite.
Yeah, my favorite was my first, actually.
Okay, cool.
And I was the sour kangaroo in Seussical. And it was just this like super sassy, fun role to play. Um, yeah, it was
I love
great.
it.
I absolutely loved it. And it's funny too that you had asked that question because just the other day I was clearing out my music room and just going through old memorabilia and stuff, and I found the disc that has that burned onto it, Seussical Jr. And I'm gonna watch it soon. It's always good to watch the progress and kind of chuckle back at your
Yeah.
younger self.
How's the cringe factor in that?
Yeah, it would probably be very high.
I love it. It seems like everything is working out for you, Vicky. That's the cool part. I love watching your trajectory. Your gig calendar is looking full, and the album's doing fantastic.
Mm.
What's the secret to everything falling in place? Have you found it that you can pass that on? Like to you, all the dominoes are just falling just right perfect. So what's do you notice a change? And what if so, what is it?
I mean, I've noticed a change in like being booked
Ah,
and
good.
having really busy calendar. But I don't know if there is a secret. If you do
Uh,
know it, if you do know it, you can share it with me.
oh yeah, hey, I'll
um,
let you know.
but I do think there is something to be said about consistency and showing up for yourself and for the career you've chosen, because I myself, much like a lot of other artists who are doing music full time, there have been a lot of times where I've debated quitting. And there have been times in my younger years where I tried quitting, and it has just come back to me because it's in my blood and my bones and it's what I'm made to do. And I don't fight it anymore, but I do consistently show up, especially on the days when it's harder than others. And I think that in itself does tend to pay off when it comes to something like creating a broader audience and finding more fans and building something that um, can truly sow into these like beautiful plants that you end up, looking at and being like, holy crap, I grew this from a little seed.
Good for you.
Um, yeah. And so I don't know if it feels like as much of a secret as much as it does showing up and like truly believing in what you're doing, because that can be hard some days.
Yeah. Were your folks into music, Vicky?
Yeah, yeah. So my grandfather and my nanny both taught me piano. I am a pianist first before vocal.
Good for you.
Um, and very different styles too. Like my grandfather was he did music in the World War, and my nana was much more of like a saloon style player.
Oh, cool.
And then my mom has a beautiful voice. She actually just did harmonies on a song that I just went into the studio with.
Nice.
And my dad is a wicked dobro player and fiddles around with the guitar, and he can play the accordion as well. So
Cool. You get
yeah,
dad do you get dad in that dobro on any tunes or
I don't have him yet on any tunes, and we talk about this very often, but
cool.
his day will come.
Yeah, that's cool. Vicky, your sound makes me think of the classic female folk singers of the day.
Mm.
The first one that comes to mind is Melanie. Melanie
That's a big.
Safka, who passed away there last year, just recently, and Judy Collins and Mary Travers, actually, from Peter, Paul, and Mary. Where do you take your inspiration from? Like, because it could be subconscious, but this is what I hear. I go, my God, it's like I've stepped back 50 years.
That's really beautiful. I think a lot. I was raised on a lot of what we would refer to as kind of like oldies but goldies now.
There you go.
Um, I was raised on a lot of powerful female vocals, some like in the rock kind of style, but a lot of like the Joni and
Hmm.
that world as well. And I believe it or not, I don't listen to a ton of modern day music. I love to discover new stuff, and I'll throw on like a new music Friday once in a while. But I tend to, in my brain, I think I subconsciously pull a lot of inspiration from the older sounds, what we would
Yeah,
refer to
yeah,
as.
yeah.
Um, and I get a lot of my inspiration from feeling, I would say. And so less in regards to the vocals and styles that I would gain inspiration from. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of my music and specifically how I use my voice is very much just what feels good.
Right. Yeah.
And that has seemed to kind of fall into the category of like, the Janice world and the Stevie Nicks and the Sass Jordan and that kind of world. But I think a lot of that comparison for people also does come just from simply having some grit in my voice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so people naturally hear that. But a lot of my inspiration too just comes from these like sonic spaces that ignite something that is unexplainable in your body.
Wow.
And that for me comes from, like Blue Rodeo and bands like America and
Right.
Joni and these these sonic spaces that we've seemed to kind of like consistently let go of a little bit in a societal way of looking at it, but we always seem to come back to it because there's something so powerful and sonically moving about that space. Like everything is energy in life, and there is something to be said about sonic frequency and the energy that it holds for humans. And I think something that we used to honor so much in that era of music is that feeling. And so a lot of my inspiration is pulled from those artists that made me feel that way from a young age. And I still listen to them to this day.
Good stuff. I can tell because it shows. You have cracked open a couple of the holy grails, I guess, for lack of a better word, that a musician would want to have, and that is a showcase and festivals.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just reading some stuff by Richard Flohill uh, about festivals and showcases and stuff like that. So you've had one of those. So relate it to some other musicians listening in, probably. What does it? I guess I want to be this bold, but I guess what kind of a giant difference does it make for you after the fact? Or is it just
Mm.
one more great thing to add on to the pile?
I mean, I think it's definitely a great thing to add onto the pile, very like bluntly speaking, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
But then there is something that happens not only inwards but outwards when you do have the honor to do something like a showcase or certain festival lineups.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of that boils down to connection and the connections that you do make not only in the room but also with the other musicians and the other people that like might not even be attending specifically your showcase, but word travels and feelings travel. And so there is this interesting connection thing that happens from receiving something like a showcase that can be it can outlast the 15 minutes of the showcase. And I think that's a really huge benefit of having a showcase in the
Hmm.
regards to like Folk Music Canada or something like that, right?
Yeah, right.
Is you can make all these connections, and connection is what creates longevity in a music career, right?
Cool.
So whether that's, booking a house concert down the line, like me personally from my showcase, I did book a really amazing house concert and
Cool.
have, little festival reach outs and stuff like that. So I think there is something to be said. If you look past just like the base layer of it, I think the deeper foundation of having something like that on the goals that you do end up achieving is
Hmm.
that it just opens this whole other world of connection.
Yeah, interesting. I'm going to take
Yeah.
back. Yeah, like I said, I don't want to be, rude about it, but I guess that's really a thing for someone who's never, and I have never experienced it. I got to do one of the private showcases in the rooms, which was
Mm.
fun. But those kind of things, I mean, yeah, I'd love to have one too. Probably won't get one, but it's almost like, well, then I wonder what's going to happen afterwards.
Mm.
And that's always my thing. So I want to go back to your folks now because you mentioned something in your bio, and I got to ask about this.
Yeah.
You folks had a letterpress print shop. And when I
Yeah.
say letterpress print shop, I'm talking about things, where you got to pull the lever down and you got the platens roll out on it and the whole deal. Tell me that's what it was.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. A lot of people wouldn't actually necessarily be super aware of what letterpress world is, but you just described it. It is very manual layer. My grandfather printed the first ever newspapers in Arnprior, where I was born and raised,
No
and
way.
yeah, and my father ended up taking on the shop, and then my parents ran the letterpress print shop, and ever since I was a child, they just sold it off about 4-ish years ago.
Wow.
Uh, and letterpress, of course, it's a dying trade. You will find people still honoring that labor of love, but
Hmm.
it's definitely a dying trade. And so my father integrated, graphic design and electronic printing and stuff into it. But yeah, we still like some of the mantelpieces at my parents' house or all of the letterpress letters in the beautiful boxes. I have such a love for the letterpress world and the art of
Yeah.
letterpress,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
really interesting because from a young age, subconsciously, without even actually realizing it, there is such an art to letterpress, and you really have to honor the process. There's a lot of patience that goes into it. Of course, like any other thing, you can get quick at it and you can get really good at how you put things together and stuff. But I was learning before I even realized it, the labor of love to certain artistic actions. And so that's been really cool to kind of grow into the older that I get and reflect on.
Do, if you had that now, I think they might find a whole new market with that retro vintage kind of look for posters and stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would definitely have something going on there. That's cool. Um, you got a pretty great performing schedule. And I'm sure you still have some struggles and stuff like that, even though things are, getting good for you in that respect. Um, what kind of a timeline did you find yourself on from the, okay, I'm going along, I'm 14, 15, I'm in high school, blah, blah, blah. When did you say, oh, this is smooth enough now, I can just keep doing this. I can go on my own.
Mm,
I can get out from under mom and dad. I can go
yeah.
off, I can take off on the road.
My folks probably would have wished that I had a much more intentional plan. But I truly, like many other artists, I'm one of those people that falls into the category of like there was never a plan B. There was never a plan B for me. I didn't really care, and maybe I should have cared a little more, but I didn't really care if it meant that I was going to be broke and not buying a damn thing for myself, but I was making money from music. I really just kind of surrendered to the universe and the path that it was going to take me on, and I just really trusted that this was my purpose. And so there have been times where things haven't been booked up for me, and they weren't consistent. And when I was in my teen years, I worked a couple jobs, serving as a waitress or things like that. But music has always taken the forefront.
Good.
And I think probably for about 5 years now, steady, I have just been full time and it's been really booked up. So
Good for you.
for about 5 years, I would say the last 5 years. But trajectory wise, I mean, I had always somehow irrationally convinced myself that I just always was making it enough.
I love it. When all
Yeah.
fails, psychologically brainwash yourself.
Yeah, I mean there is a part of artistry that calls for a little bit of delusion, and that's how you keep yourself convinced that it is all going to work out.
Yeah. The applause, the power of deniability,
Yeah.
eh? So let's go to the songwriting. What is it, Vicky, that makes you want to write a song about a particular subject? What is it that says, I'm writing about that?
Mm. I think I firmly believe that I am a vessel, and when I am meant to write about a certain experience, that feeling, whatever that feeling is, that, oh my gosh, I have to write about this, that kind of sparks and comes through. But then there's also moments of inspiration where it's like I have thousands of voice memos in my phone that are just little ideas that come about, that I don't even actually know what the idea is about yet.
That's cool.
It's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so I think for me personally, I write very much in like a journaling, realistic life experience kind of standpoint.
Cool.
So there have been certain things in my life where I know specifically I want to write about this. And then there's other times where I'm fully not in control. And the vessel kind of just takes its, it grabs me, and I just know that it's something that I need to put forward and I want to write about. And sometimes I haven't even figured out the reason why, but I just do.
Awesome. I gotta love that. That's incredible. Um, a lot of musicians right now are writing about the state of the world that's going on.
Mm.
And I'm sorry I haven't got that far through your catalog. Have you taken that subject matter up yet?
Yeah, my second album, One Love, is very much actually written in that space.
Cool.
Yeah, and it it's crazy how it all comes into full circle, because I listened to that album, and specifically the song One Love Now, and it really refers to the times that we're in again. And so I definitely have been also writing in that mindset now. And I do think there will be some songs with that subject matter on my next album.
Cool.
Um, but I think it's something that it weighs heavy on all of us as a collective. And I think it's inevitable that my brain does go to writing about a lot of the troubles of the world now, and how the human experience, it feels so heavy to have a lot of the state of the world on our shoulders,
Yeah.
and how to even like mentally and personally work through that, while we are in, such a privileged part of the world, right? So
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah, I definitely have written about it, and will continue writing about it.
Good for you. Excellent. Now, you see, I was going to ask you this next question, and you kind of answered it along the way, and I think I know what the answer is, but I was going to ask you about a plan for the future and stuff like that, and an end game. Do you have one? Are you exactly what you were just talking about earlier? You just, hey,
I'm just
I'm in it.
along for
I'm
the
just
ride.
going.
I'm just along for the ride, Brian. The life
I
is a
love it.
wave, and I have a surfboard, and I'm just, yeah, I'm just riding the wave.
I like it. There's a lot to be said for that, right? Because all this planning and everything else, and it's got to go like this, and it's got to be like this,
Mm.
can probably just make you cuckoo, you know?
Yeah, it definitely does. I've definitely had points of my life where I've struggled to surrender to, letting things be the way that they are going to be, and, trying to control things. But I think as humans, we are so privileged to just be able to experience this life. And I trust in that experience, and whatever is meant to be mine will find its way to me. And so I'm just riding the wave. I'm here for the journey, and
Love it.
whatever finds me along that way is like,
Yeah,
I'm happy to experience it.
cool. Vicki Brittle, tell the folks where they can find out about more about you, your music, the socials, all that happy stuff.
Yeah, so my website is back up and running after a little while of construction. So that's www.vickybrittle.com. All of my shows are listed there. You can get links to all of my music and stuff. I'm also on all streaming platforms, so Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, all those places. And then just at Vicki Brittle Music on Instagram and Facebook.
There we go. Gotta
Mhm.
love every minute of that. Vicky, you're a beautiful soul, and I love your music. And if people are listening to the radio, you're dumb because there's better music out there, and Vicky Brittle's one of them. I say that about
Aw.
all my guests, and it's the doggonest truth.
Thanks, Brian. Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much, dear, for coming on the program. I greatly appreciate it. We'll
Thank you
put,
for having me. And thank you for giving me exposure to all of this, music that people might not find otherwise. I appreciate you.
no, thank you so much. I appreciate it.